This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1081, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author, speaker, podcaster, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And in Nashville, Tennessee, our very own downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Derek is this is 4 episodes in a row in LA. He's been gone for a while. Happy July 4th, everyone. We are obviously recording this a little bit before July 4th, but everybody's hearing this on July 4th. So happy America Day, everybody.
Happy Independence Day.
Go America. Woo.
Now, are you guys big July 4th people? Because it's a sweaty, loud holiday. Is this a highlight of the year day for you guys?
Big time.
If I can find a pool, it's a good day. If I can't find a pool,
I feel like a lot of socially you can behave on the 4th of July in a way that you can't get away with the rest of the year.
Like what?
So social standards are wildly different on the 4th of July. Like if you saw someone riding around your neighborhood with like a big American flag and just screaming, or 4th of July, it's like, of course, if you saw that same person any other day of the year, you'd be like, what is this lunatic doing? Like, same thing with, you could see someone openly playing with what are clearly homemade concocted fireworks or throwing firecrackers.
That's me and my
Right.
kid. Yeah.
No one thinks twice at all.
I buy all the fireworks, but then I'll morph them into each other.
Wait, you mess with them and change them?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
This feels very, very, very dangerous.
You got to modify.
that is the most Florida thing I've ever heard you say.
I will tie multiple ones together. I will make monster ones. I will I have had so many incidents. I've had fireworks shoot into our garage. I've lit woods on fire.
Nope.
I've made a lot of mistakes with
And yet we
fireworks,
still
but
do it every year.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
Like if you saw someone just doing donuts in a cul-de-sac in like a car, just whipping around, and it's 4th of July, you probably
and like Bruce Springsteen or Van Halen is just blaring on the stereo.
Honestly, you'd be like, you just look out you kind of lower the window shade, be like, awesome, man, it's 4th of July, of course. Why not? What do we have freedom for? If someone did that any other day of the week, obviously it's going to cause a big disruption. I'm just saying people behave differently on the 4th of July, and you can pretty much get away with it because
This is why I don't like this whole behaving differently thing. Is why I don't like it. Cameron, I'm super, super anxious about what body part you're going to lose this
Don't
day.
speak that over me. I made it
I'm
this
not
far.
pathetic.
It sounds like it's like waiting to happen.
It's just like, yes, you're asking for it.
You're going to feel
not like
really bad
fireworks.
if I blow a finger off on Tuesday.
I'm not going to feel bad. You should feel bad for yourself because listen, these things are not meant to be doing that.
Somebody made them. I'm just making a different version of it. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm just a
This is not
firework
okay.
manufacturer. I'm a inventor.
No, you are not.
Whenever we do fireworks at our house, I literally go upstairs and take a bath because I don't want to see one of my kids like lose a finger or get shot by a fire. Because I'm like, we're not firework experts. What are we doing? And so I can't even watch.
Do you like stay inside with the dogs? Because
I can't even watch.
Jesse and I went to the illegal fireworks stand, or the very sketchy one, a couple years ago in Montana, and we bought so many fireworks that by the end of the night, like we were tired of shooting fireworks. So a friend and I, we had a bonfire going, took all the remaining fireworks, which was a ton of them, and just threw them into the bonfire. And then we would and they would start, obviously just shoot off and go crazy. And me and my friend would run and jump over the bonfire.
No.
And it was great.
You're going to lose body parts you don't want to lose by doing that, Cameron.
And how old are you?
It was 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Cool.
Like we turned into 12-years around fireworks. Like what?
But you're allowed to on the 4th.
Yeah, it's July 4th.
The other thing too is like you could eat 3 cheeseburgers. You could have one for
100%.
like lunch.
Breakfast.
Yeah. You could have a cheeseburger midday, and then you could have one at dinner or while you're watching fireworks. You can the amount of red meat that it's socially acceptable to consume on the 4th of July outpaces any day. Even we're north of Thanksgiving territory here.
Wow.
100%. Yeah. It's a great
Do you
day.
guys wear flag attire?
I don't.
I don't either, but I was just
are you
wondering.
talking about on the 4th or in general?
Like every Saturday or just like on the 4th of July?
I used to go to Walmart with my friend and we would get like the $5 Walmart.
Yeah, t-shirt
Like
and stuff.
I remember we had one that was like a cut off tank with this huge bald eagle on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally would only wear it on the 4th because I would not be caught dead wearing it any other day of the year. But
Well, there's your first mistake. That's awesome year round. A big old tank top with a bald eagle on it.
Exactly.
I don't know about that one, but you didn't see the design. It was obnoxious. But it was the perfect shirt for 4th of July.
Yeah. See?
I
love
mean,
it.
just to underscore the point, like it is the day where gluttony isn't just acceptable; it's celebrated. We kick off the day by watching people literally cram as many hot dogs into their mouth as possible, and we celebrate that.
Yeah.
It's the only day where we make eating into a literal winner take all competition.
Mhm. And
You
that's
know, like-
America.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I was in Italy a couple
Great.
years ago for July 4th, and this is the most American thing that I've ever done in my entire life. I'm in Italy for July 4th, and we're out to dinner, and we see these fireworks start going off. And me, the American, was like, look at them. They're celebrating our Independence Day with
Aw.
us. Like, this is so kind of them. It was like a wedding across, the way or whatever. But I literally was like, this is so nice, you guys. Thank
The
you.
entire
We appreciate
world revolves
this.
around us. This is
The
great.
entire world loves Americans.
Italy, I don't know what your day is. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what your history is. And are you free? Is this a free guy? Does someone own Italy?
But thank
Is
you
this
for
part-
celebrating us.
Yeah, but I will say this: we do appreciate your acknowledgement of our awesomeness. Now, point me in the direction of hot dogs.
An Italian hot dog.
Yeah.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to worship leader Amanda Cook. She has a new album out. We talked to her about it. You don't want to miss that. And at the end of the show, we have our annual tradition, Rock Band or Firework. It's a game. And right now, stay tuned. Up next, it's Slices.
Till I'm running right back to you to tell you how I really feel. Maybe we could find forgiveness. Maybe we could learn to heal. But it's easier than wish we could stop the lying. Talk for once without crying, but it's easier to run, easier to run. We're still a dream.
You're listening to Georgia Gets By. The song is Easier to Run. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
All right, what do you have, Jesse?
All right. I have a take on comments recently made by the former. Well, he is the founder of Twitter, but he's no longer running the operation. He's doing numerous other tech enterprises. Jack Dorsey. He was recently interviewed by the YouTube channel Breaking Points, and he was very concerned about the future, what the future of humanity is going to look like, and the acceleration of technologies like virtual reality. It was in response to the Apple announcing their own sort of virtual reality product. He said that he's very concerned that humanity is going to have a future like the film WALL-E. He said that's the future we're driving towards, with everyone in floating chairs, drinking their food out of the straws, and constant 24/7 entertainment. First off, I'm on record. I've said this before. That sounds great. Like that
Sign me up. They're entertained. They're comfortable.
drinking food,
They're happy.
constant floating chairs,
Yeah.
all that. There's not one thing he named that I see as a negative. But he went on to say,
Yeah.
I'm worried and concerned with how much how out of touch it might make people and distance us further. You can see the whole world is headed this way, and I want to believe there's a different answer. So it's going to happen. I'm skeptical about some of the benefits, and I hope we can have an honest conversation about some of the harms and more social distancing. Okay, here's my take, and this is just something like I feel like it's becoming more and more evident. Well, you guys tell me if it's becoming more and more evident. Because we've seen this with like, the metaverse, with concerns about AI replacing jobs. Years ago, it was wearable tech. Oh, everyone's going to be wearing these glasses that have cameras on them. It's going to record everything. It's a huge concern with privacy. Like the death of retail. Amazon's going to kill every retail. People aren't even going to go, to mall, or like drone deliveries. There's not going to be trucks driving around. Drones are going to drop stuff off, and self-driving car. There's a lot of these tech founders. I think they're the ones that are a little bit out of touch, where a lot of these fears that we hear, like it seems so fear-based. And I feel like Jack Dorsey isn't alone with his future prognosticating, automatically going to a worst case scenario that I don't think is that much of a concern. Like I said, there's been multiple examples of these guys warning us about a future that I don't think we really have to worry that much about. Like I said, we over the years that big next concern, whether, like I said, it's privacy one day, whether it's AI one day, whether it's sentience, one day, like it's that the concern is always moving, but never really comes to fruition. I'm not that worried about the future Jack Dorsey is concerned about. I think VR, I don't own a VR kit, but I've goofed around and played video games on them or watched videos on them. It's pretty cool, but I don't see humanity going to a place where it's going to replace social interactions. I feel like there's a lot of misplaced fears that a lot of these like tech innovators seem to be pretty fixated on. Do you guys think I'm wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just an optimist.
Okay, so you and I watch this stuff really closely, and I have a little bit of a different perspective on it. I do think while he's giving an extreme and cartoonish example of a future, I do know that the advancement of AI and the advancement of augmented reality experiences will change how we work and live and spend our personal time. It just will. Yeah. Is somebody going to strap on this huge helmet? No, they're not. But within 10 years, will it be as slimlined, as simple as a pair of glasses that I'm wearing right now? Yeah, that will be. And with AI, I think the future is probably closer to the movie Her, that Joaquin Phoenix movie, where we as humans develop relationships with AI interfaces that run our lives, run our entertainment, run our houses, run our worlds, and the need for human interaction will lessen. And as somebody who has seen in his own life the difference between working with a team every day at the office and now working fully remote, and I can go days without seeing another adult, many days, a week without seeing another adult, it has affected me. And the more of this technological advancement that's happening, I will have less and less need to leave the house, and get all my entertainment here. I don't have to go to the movies with friends. I can watch the game here. I don't have to go out with friends to go to the game. Like all the things that life will become much more me focused and much simpler and much easier to isolate yourself. And ultimately, I think human isolation is going to have a huge impact on humanity versus he's scared everybody's going to get fat and lazy and all that kind of stuff. I think it's just, we'll be able to create these technological bubbles that we can live in, and there's no real need to go outside. And it's not necessarily going to be our generation. It's going to be the generations coming up that this is normal for them. They can live in their own little bubble, and they didn't have to grow and get into awkward social situations and things that kind of build character in your lives and help you, need people or they need you, and self-service and other, it's all self-serving and not sacrificial. And I think that's going to fundamentally rewire a generation's brain. And that's where I'm actually concerned. But it's not like tomorrow, and I'm not the boogeyman. I just we as Christians need to be talking about the ethics of this and be talking about the spiritual and emotional implications of all these technological advancements, because the tech industry is saying, can we, not should we? And I think Christians should be talking about, should we? And if it's inevitable, how do we navigate these waters thoughtfully and intentionally?
I think that's all totally valid, right? Like I think that is a reasonable perspective, but I also think there is a tendency, especially for people like Jack Dorsey, whose life is dedicated to understanding, the role that technology can play in our lives to improve it. I think there is a tendency to sometimes underestimate the power of the stuff that makes us human. Like, Cameron, that desire to be to be around other people, right, isn't taken away by circumstance or technology. You still want that. You still recognize it, like to go outside and just to kind of feel, to go be active. Like, I think those human impulses, I don't think those are in jeopardy. I think that's just part of how we were created.
I don't know, but like if we can satisfy our desires, human desires for connection digitally, sexual connection digitally, emotional, like all the things that like we need to do with other people now, if there are artificial replacements for that and a generation deems that good enough, like this is good. Like then I don't have to go out there and get my heart broken by the girl I had a crush on because I can live in my cocoon because, my AI girlfriend will never reject me. And if technology gets to the point where it's like similar to human interaction emotionally, I'm just saying it's going to fundamentally rewire the human experience. I actually think that is inevitable.
It goes back to the conversation about church attendance being low that we had on the last show. And you say like, oh, well, if you can satisfy your desire for quote unquote community within the church by watching it online, that's actually a false sense of community. That's actually not what community is. It's like one of my kids is like, hey, I'm hanging out with my friends and I'm like, awesome. Let me get some pizzas. What do you want to do? And he's like, no, online. Like we're playing this game together. And that's literally hanging out with his friends. Whereas to me, I'm like, that feels very lame, but he actually feels like he hung out with his friends and it's being replaced by that sit down and eat pizza together is like, we're all talking on our headsets together.
Your church example is in my life is case in point. Doing virtual church and getting the sermons and listening to the worship music and checking every box. In the middle of it, I did not realize the numbing it was doing to my spirit. I didn't realize it until I got out of my shell and went to a church, and it was like my scales fell off my eyes. And it was like the Spirit of the Lord is here. This is alive. This is something this is bigger than me. And it opened my heart up again. And it was only through that experience that I got to see how numb I had become up to that point. And I feel like there's going to be a generation coming up that like all they know is the numb version. And it's good enough. I'm hanging out with my friend virtually, or I'm watching this movie, or I'm entertained, or I'm emotionally fed, or whatever it is. And they don't realize that it's a false substitute for the real thing, And that's the danger to me, is just they won't have to get out of that box. They won't have to have the real thing. So they'll accept the artificial replacement and humanity will numb out, maybe not to the degree of WALL-E, but I do think it's inevitable. I do think
there's a shift. I think to Jesse's point though, like, you kind of mentioned this, like Jack Dorsey, he is in the tech world. Like that's all he knows. And I'm thinking about my friends that like are my age, but like are really not like tech people. Like I have friends that they hate talking on the phone and hate texting. And so it's like, I do have to be intentional about, going out to dinner with them or something like that. And that's fine. I don't mind doing that. But like, I think it is interesting hearing these tech leaders saying like, we're going to become WALL-E and all this. And it's like, well, I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow, because like the tech industry itself is moving really quickly, but outside of the tech industry, it is still like slowly seeping into our culture. So it's like, it is going to be decades before we get to that fear.
Who embraces new tech easiest?
The young
kids.
ones.
It's
Sure.
next generation, right? They're the early adopters. And that's where I'm going. I think it'll rewire the next generation. That's what I predict.
I do agree with that. But like, I think about, I used to work with youth students, and like they used to only want to text. Like they barely wanted to hang out. But now that some of them are older and they're like in their early 20s, I see them and they are hanging out with people. I see them like they are posting less online because they're out living life. So I think part of it is also just a maturity and realizing like, okay, like I kind of like what you were saying, like they got out of these I don't want to say childish ways, but they got out of just relying on tech and realized, oh, there is more out there and I can go access it. Because I think with kids too, like if I didn't have a car in high school, it would be easier to just put on my headset and hang out with my friends. But if we can go out and do something, I would rather go out and do that, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think we're slowly moving there, but I agree with Jesse that I think the mega fear behind it is like unmerited for where we are right now.
Right. It's not going to be the extreme example.
Yeah.
But it will, things will change. And I think that the impact on the emotional and mental health of a generation is something the church needs to have its eye on. Like how do we break through to a generation that's used to that cocoon, living in that cocoon? How do we reach them? How do we open their hearts and eyes to something more? Because they won't know that there is something more, because tech and everything has just given them a customized life experience, that they don't know any better, So anyway, all right. What do you have, Emily?
Well, speaking of technology, some of it is actually doing a lot of really good. In the Amazon rainforest right now, there is a robot named Yumi, which is helping replant a lot of trees in the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest has decreased by about 20% over the last several years just because of deforestation, climate change. It's been really big. It just had a huge impact, and that's obviously infected the climate around there, the area, and the animals and everything. But there's a robot named Yumi who's able to plant seeds in the area the size of 2 soccer fields every single day. So this one robot is able to just plant seeds in this huge area, which obviously takes a while to grow trees, but it frees up a lot of human workers to go do other things and help the environment in other different ways. And I just like seeing technology doing really helpful things like that, and just making the world a little better.
So humanity destroyed the rainforest and left just emotional or environmental carnage. And
making a robot
years later, robots are having to come in to that area and look for signs of life and create new life in the trash and wreckage that humanity had created. Lot like the movie WALL-E.
So Jack Dorsey was on to something, just in the wrong area.
It's already happening. Wake up, sheeple. It's already happening.
If I could float around in a recliner, in a lazy boy,
sipping on a little soda,
consuming big gulps to monitor this tree planting robot in deforested areas of the Amazon. I mean,
that's a dream come true.
And
it's pretty great. It's a good job. It's like, just monitor it on your screen, make sure everything's going well.
Exactly.
Yeah. You literally described WALL-E. That's hilarious.
Well, yeah. WALL-E is actually a documentary now. So that's what we can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like Terminator 2 was as well. Just you watch. Okay. What do you have, Jamie?
Okay, so I want to be real careful with this to make sure I'm not making fun of anybody. Okay, so we want to be careful with our words and kind, right?
Good.
Here we go.
This is a good intro to this story.
What show do you think you're on, Jamie?
Go on.
No, okay, so this article that I'm reading this from is written by someone whose article is The Friendly Atheist. So that's where we're coming from here. But here's what happened. If any of you are listening and you go to a Catholic church in Kansas City, you may have gotten an email from Archbishop Joseph Naaman, I don't know, of Kansas City. He sent a message to all the clergy members who were under his umbrella, letting them know there was a serious problem. Are you ready with the serious problem? There was a serious problem with the wine that they had recently used at communion. Okay. Did any of y'all grow up Catholic?
I did not.
I know that y'all didn't. Okay. I didn't either.
I was a grape juice church.
So apparently what I didn't know as someone who didn't grow up Catholic either is that the wine that the Catholic Church requires use for all of communion, which they claim is the literal blood of Christ after it's been consecrated.
Yeah, it turns into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be made from grapes without any additives. All right. It means no additional flavoring or sugar or alcohol, which I'd like to say is really great wine that it doesn't have all that stuff in it. Okay. And they have all these local wineries that will produce acceptable wines for the Catholic priests to use. Well, something got through, guys, and it was not the right wine. And so this archbishop sent an email to everyone letting them know that it was all impure wine, that it was all invalid. So all of those masses were invalid.
Now, would you, if you were that priest, and I don't know the theological or spiritual ramifications of drinking improper wine at communion from the perspective of Catholicism. So
Right.
I'm just talking about human to human. Are you just kind of like, ooh, dodge your bullet there? No. And, you just kind of hold that close to the chest, like, oh, no harm, no foul. I guess I'm the, if I don't tell anyone, then because I feel like we've all been in that scenario where it's like, when you're a kid and you slide something into the shopping cart and then your parents actually drive home and you didn't pay for it. It's like, what are we going to drive all the way back? So don't do that next time. I'm just saying. At what point are you just, if you guys were in the position as priests, would you just kind of be like, I'm not
Well, I think this is proof why I'm not a priest, because I would
I was
probably
about to
do the
say.
same.
But to a Catholic priest and to the Catholic faith, I think it's a really, really, really big deal. Which
Yeah.
I would hate to be that priest having to write that email. But this guy in the article also stated that there was a recent survey from 2019 that said that only 31% of U.S. Catholics believe the bread and wine used in communion was the literal body and blood of Christ, and 69% said it was symbolic. So I feel like we've got some like this is like tradition for a lot of people, but to the priest, he's like, no, this is it. And we made a really big error here, guys, because you had wine that had some sugar added to it. And so it cannot be used. Again, not making fun of the Catholic Church.
I think
Just stating the
I'm
point.
wondering.
I'm glad you just said that.
I'm saying
Because I was trying to, after you finished your slice, I was trying to think like she was very concerned to make sure everybody knows we're not making fun of
Well, because
anybody here.
I don't-
And I'm like, who are we making fun of with that information?
Well,
oh, you're afraid.
I just think that it's kind of a silly, because of where I come from.
oh,
I
now
think,
you're
Here
going
we
there.
go.
Oh, okay.
well, I don't believe.
Let's just tear down their theology now,
there
Jamie.
you go.
Go
Exactly.
for it.
I don't believe that wine turns into the literal blood of Christ as a evangelical Christian. Okay, so there's where
Right,
it is. So
right.
I'm not making fun of you Catholics. I don't think that's true.
I don't know
I'm
if this
such a
says it in the
pleaser.
article. I'm wondering if like he had to send the email in case there's still some wine left, that they're just kind of like, hey, don't move this wine. Don't use this wine moving forward, because it's not,
Maybe.
because it's like you can't go back and like take the wine out of like it's like, well, it's, what's done is done. But I assume
I think
that would
they
be
would
why he
believe
say
like
it.
you thought you were coming to mass and you were doing something holy and you were actually just having a glass of wine. Like that's why I think the problem lies, what they were worried
Yeah.
about.
So what's wrong with that?
A sip
Yes.
of wine. I don't think they're drinking glasses.
Yeah, a full bottle.
You haven't been to Catholic choir practice. They drink the full
Okay.
bottle. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
when back in the day when I was working at the garden department of Big K,
Not
Where is
Kmart.
this going?
there
The Big K.
Yeah, the Big K. It's just under Kmart in hierarchy. It's sandwiched between
Under?
Kmart.
No, it's above it. It's the Supermart, super center of the Kmart.
It's
It was
big
the Big
Lotish.
K.
Either way, doesn't
Okay.
matter. You'd be surprised with the lack of training when you get hired there. They just kind of throw you right to the wolves. Okay. So I didn't know how the propane tank exchange program worked. Okay. So I didn't even know we did that. All right. So one day, a guy comes in with an empty propane tank and says, "Hey, I need a tank exchange." I'm thinking on my feet. I'm not going to go ask somebody. How hard could it be to find it and just switch it out for him? So sure enough, I find it. I test a bunch of keys, grab a tank. Here you go, man. Go charge him. As he's getting into his car, someone with me, it was like, "Hey, you just gave him an empty propane tank. You exchanged an empty one for an empty
Or an
one."
empty one.
Now, at this point, he's halfway across the parking lot. Could I have sprinted and grabbed this man? Could I have looked at probably his name on his credit card and
You'll
find
figure
a
it
way?
out and come back.
And
He'll
I'm
bring
off-
himself back.
I'm off in like 20 minutes. So by the
Oh my
It's not
gosh.
gonna be
You
my problem.
ruined his 4th of July celebration. That's
But
what
what
you did.
You
my
did.
whole point is if this priest wouldn't have said something, you know what
It's
I mean?
true,
I
no
didn't
one
chase
would have
the guy
known.
down. I didn't chase the guy down.
But the difference is that dude would have figured out he had no propane. He would have come back and gotten the situation fixed. These people feel like sins were forgiven or significant spiritual things were happening
and
that
they would
the priest
never
was
know
saying didn't
otherwise. They would
happen.
never know.
Yeah, but it's this.
Unless
And
someone
this
came
is why you
forward
are
and
not
was
an
like,
archbishop.
unless someone came forward and was like, "Hey, I've been going to this church for a really long time. I've gone to mass, whatever it means, all these years." Something was different about the wine today, and so maybe
the wine didn't take.
Yeah.
It didn't taste bloody enough
Oh,
like
gosh.
today. It didn't turn all the way to the
Yeah.
blood, just did half blood. I wonder if does it taste different if they think it turned into the blood of Jesus? Does it?
Well, I'm curious what was added because what you're describing, like, I think the way it's described
Well,
is
it
just
sounds
like a
like natural wine.
Yeah.
And natural wine's great. I love it. It doesn't
Yeah.
have all the like sugar and stuff added to it. Less
Yeah.
all the it's great.
You were about to say less hangovers, weren't you? You were about to say
but
less
then I was
hangovers.
like, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
But I've heard from friends.
From my sinful friends, they tell me.
No, I mean, I can tell the difference between like a natural wine and like a Cab Sav. So I assume if
100%.
you've taken a bunch of, communions at Catholic Church, I'd assume someone would be able to tell. Although it is just a sip. So it's hard
It's a
to tell like how much of a difference it is.
Father, I'm 90% sure this is sangria.
See, this is why I started this whole slice. Like, let's be kind to the Catholics,
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Amanda Cook joins us. You're listening to Alden. The song is Sub 32. Alden is spelled ALDN if you're searching for it. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Well, our guest today is Amanda Cook. She's a worship artist who's worked with Bethel and Maverick City Music, and she recently released her latest album, Survey, Part 1. Amanda sat down with Emily to share how worship impacts her daily life and how she hopes to inspire others with her story and music. Here's our conversation with Amanda Cook.
It's you. It's you. It's you. Jesus, it's always been you.
I don't know. Is it ever like nervous or do you get excited like just sharing these very like honest parts about your journey and like having like being vulnerable in this way? Or is
Yeah, I
that
get
something
nervous. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can feel that one in my throat. Yeah, I get nervous for sure. I'm a collector, and I'd say part of my challenge is that I tend to collect to keep. And so it requires a certain kind of, everyone's courage looks different, and it's all about the cost, right? Like, it's all about what it costs us inwardly. So no one really can, like, we look at all the big things and we're like, that's bravery, but there's a lot of quiet, courageous people who are embracing the cost of their own bravery, you know what I mean? So for me, part of that looks like actually sharing anything. I think with the world, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if any artists that, I mean, there are probably some who, you know, have a Kanye level of confidence, which would be incredible. But it's a bit of a challenge, I'd say. By the time I release something, I think I generally feel like I want to have served that piece of it. And then when I release it, I feel released from it. So now it's everyone else's. Now we all get to share, and hopefully it, you know, serves some people and helps some people and gives language to people the way other artists have given language to me. You know, it's all kind of part of the alchemy of the thing. But I always have like waves of terror, and, you know, right before, especially, just think maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Like I had a real midlife crisis. I have one every other week, but about like my age and realizing that when I was 18, when the world, like life was all up in front of me, right? It was all ahead, right? It's like bright eye and music was the thing. It was kind of the only thing I'm good at, still kind of is. Although I made a really great tray of roasted potatoes the other day that I brought to my friend's birthday, and I couldn't.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Oh yeah, I mean, potatoes are a staple, aren't they? And I'm just gonna put a shameless plug in here for the potatoes, because I ended up talking incessantly about them all evening because I was so proud of actually bringing something to a dinner that was edible that other people found great delight in. Anyways, music, aside from the potatoes, music is kind of the only thing I was good at. And so when I was 18, I was like, oh, I'll follow this musical train wherever it goes. And, you know, back then you're not really, you're 18. I'm 18. I'm not considering like all the BS that comes with being an adult yet. And so suddenly I find myself at 38 and I'm going, do I still want to be on this train? What does this train cost? What does the ticket cost to be on it? Is it too late to swerve left, hard left? Like, is it too late to do something else that maybe looks different and doesn't feel quite as exposing, or as, you know, I put myself in this position. That's the irony. So I think I've been analyzing a few things like that along the way. But the analysis comes up every single time. So I don't think it would, you know, I don't know if it would feel any different if I did anything else, because I have the same level of, you know, anxiety if I'm roasting potatoes or releasing a song. So perhaps the problem is me. We've solved it, Emily. No need to go to therapy anymore. Sorry, Diane. I'm just kidding. I love Diane, my therapist. But we solved it. The problem is me.
We've solved it. Everything's good now. Yeah.
That was a long tangent to talk about how anxious I actually do feel about releasing anything that matters, you know, because I think if we put ourselves into the world as we are, like I've had to learn the differentiation between putting myself into the world with a question mark, an exclamation mark, a period, a ... You know, certain things leave me open to remarks, and just as a sensitive person, you know, they stick a bit too long. So I have to make decisions, I think, every time, and come up with a plan for my mental health when I'm walking in the world, as we all do, with whatever vocation we have, you know, how to stay soft, how to stay vulnerable, while also having clear boundaries and, you know, systems in place so we don't completely collapse. Yeah, that's my answer.
There's nothing, there's no hiding,
I do think we're in a place now where our society is more open about mental health and talking about it and seeking help, which is really, really great. But unfortunately, I feel like there are still parts of the church that are not like quite there yet. And so I just would love to know, like, what do you think we as believers can be doing to help people that are, you know, battling mental health journeys, and like what can we do to come alongside them and help them in different ways?
Wow. Oh man, this is where I'm like, yeah, where do we begin? I mean, God help. There's some great resources. There's a really great book called Renovated by Jim Wilder, and there's another one by the same guy called The Other Half of the Church, and it's Christian Community, Brain Science, and Overcoming Spiritual Stagnation. Jim Wilder and Michelle Hendricks, highly recommend it. It is so beautiful, because it really, you're right, there is such a gap, and I don't know, maybe it's that we forgot that we're whole beings and we're meant to have a holistic experience. I think in our faith tradition and our original orthodoxy, it was more holistic before we started fragmenting ourselves into these personas or caricatures of things, and we started with pie charts of a person's being, which I love. Compartments. I love compartmentalization, to be able to like pull things out and reorganize them. I think that's so imperative. And so perhaps we've been focusing on certain organizations of, compartments for a while, but this one, while we were organizing this one has been like sitting in the corner going, I need to be integrated. I need to be remembered. I'm actually really important and imperative to your well-being as a person. And so I think, as far as I think integration is kind of the goal. For me, it's about bringing all of me to the table, to like in prayer and in public service. That's the point. That's the truest form of worship I know of. It's not, I leave these things in order to appear spiritually, lifted or spiritually more aware. You can't leave all those parts behind. Like often I'll find myself just saying, like, bring your anger, bring your resentment, bring your bitterness, bring your depression, bring your anxiety. Like this is, there was a song that I was a part of recently that I really loved on Brandon Lake's album. And we talked about this line in the bridge of, what if God was the safest place for suffering? Like, bring all of it, just bring all of it. And going to God these days to me looks like going to therapy, going to community, going to dinner, going into my solitude, going for a walk, that's what going to God looks like, right? It's the holistic experience of fully becoming and beholding the Christ that's, risen, but the Christ that's also like looking back at me and healing like all the different compartments and bringing them all into stillness and all into play. So every person is a living temple, right? And I think like our organizations of church, our institutions of church, like they all serve purposes. But as far as like a person being a temple, there's just so much in there that's of infinite value that is deserving and worthy of love and transformation. I just started reading Teresa of Avila work called The Interior Castle. The one particularly translated by Mirabai Starr, and it's amazing. And it goes into the sanctuary of soul that every human being has within them. So this is not an answer. I don't feel like I have an answer for this. It's it's more of an exploration because I feel like I'm committed to the exploration with everyone, because it's something that we're forever going to be integrating, throughout history. So not an answer, but it is a thought.
That was Amanda Cook. Make sure to check out her latest album, Survey, Part 1. All right, stay tuned. Up next is Rock Band or Fireworks.
I wish you loved me now. I miss you when I was alone. If you love me now, oh dear God, just take me home. Say you won't be long. Where the time go? Cross the time zone. How I did. If I'm worlds apart, I'll still be good to you. Yeah, I'll be there for you. So don't feel the same. Can't let it fade away. I don't need no fate like you. I'll take my place in truth. I can't get over you. I feel my face grow loose. It's not the same without you.
You're listening to Greek. The song is Virginia Creeper. I think they originally were going to name it Jesse Carey, but they decided to just make it a little bit more generic so they don't get sued. It's called Virginia Creeper. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. Okay, it's time for Rock Band or Firework. We have been doing this game every July 4th episode for 12 plus years. It wasn't a year 1 game, but it was like a year 2 or 3 game. So it's been well over a decade that we've been doing this game. Basically, the premise is this. I'm going to say a name and you tell me, is that the name of an actual firework that is manufactured by Phantom Fireworks? You can verify these on their website, but don't pull them up. Or is this the name of an actual rock band? Now, some years it would be a band name or maybe a rock album name, but that was too hard. So we're just going straight rock band names or straight firework names. Emily actually wrote this list. So this is a head-to-head, mano-a-mano between Jamie and Jesse. So here we go. All right. Emily, you keep score. Okay. First couple rounds will be 1 point, and then they're going to go up in value after that. Okay. Jamie, you're up first. Wolfpack. Is that a firework or a band?
It's definitely a band.
It is a firework.
Dang it.
Jesse.
Rough start.
King of Bling.
Band, for sure.
Firework! I'm disappointed.
Be a rad band.
Yeah.
King of Bling. All right, Jamie. Killer Dwarfs.
Definitely a band.
It is a band. The Killer Dwarfs. That is a rock band. All right, Jesse. Cold Sweat. Cold Sweat.
Firework.
It's a rock band. All right, after 2 rounds, Jamie is in the lead, 1-0. All right, here we go. Jamie, you're up. King Cobra. King Cobra.
That's definitely a firework.
That is a rock band. That is a rock band. All right, Jesse.
I feel like that's like a $4.99 firework. Like it's like the beast of them all.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like just that little snake comes out. You know, like it sits on the. You buy it at Target because they can't sell real fireworks. All right, here we go.
That
Jesse.
one's just called disappointment. Okay.
Yeah, I hate those value packs that like to sell at the grocery store. And it's like nothing shoots up. It's just like sparkly all stuff. Anyway, all right, here we go. Shotgun Messiah. Shotgun Messiah, Jesse.
It sounds like an awesome band to me.
It is a band. All right, we are. Am I correct, Emily, that we're tied 1-1?
Yes.
All right. Now it's 2 points per round. Here we go. Brouhaha, Jamie. Brouhaha.
That's a band.
It's a firework. It's a firework.
Welcome out the brouhaha.
You buy the band T-shirt for that. All right. Jesse, Crimson Power. Crimson Power.
Firework.
It's a band. It's a band.
Straight out of like, what is it? Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Probably.
There you go.
Crimson Tide.
College, yeah, there you go. All right, Jamie, here we go. Banshee. Banshee.
Isn't that a movie? I think it's a band. Banshee.
It is a band. It is.
There you go.
All right, 2 points.
Oh, that movie that came out, the Isles of...
That was the Isles of Bansherin.
Oh, the Irish one?
See, there it is.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Bansherin. Yeah.
There it is.
All right, here we go. Jesse, Black and Blue. Black and Blue. It's the letter N.
Firework. Fireworks.
It's a band. Black and Blue is a band.
I feel like it's like a firework. Like this is what's going to happen when this hits you in your face, Cameron.
It's just it's a warning. It's a firework
Because
warning.
isn't it black
when you
blue?
stuff down the tube and then you light it and it doesn't shoot up. So you look down the tube
there
to
it
see
is.
what's going on. Boom. Black and blue. That's it. All right. Here we go. Jamie. Is Jamie in the lead?
Yeah,
By
3
2
to
points,
1.
right? Yep. Here we go. Black mammoth snake.
Firework for sure.
That is a firework. Good job. All right. Jesse. Axe.
Spell
How do you
it
spell
out.
it?
Spell it out.
AXE.
It's a body spray and it's a band, and I'm in.
It is a band. Good job. All right, here we go. All right, Jamie. Jack Star's Burning Star.
Jack Star's Burning Star. My gut says band, but I'm not going to trust that. I'm going to go firework.
Band.
Trust your gut.
Listen, kids, if we just learned anything, a little teaching moment from Jamie Ivy.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut. All right. All right, Jesse, here we go. Smashed Gladys.
Band.
It is a band. I believe we're tied.
We are tied.
All right, here we go. 2 rounds left, 3 points each. Jamie, you're up. Mulberry Street Mayhem.
This is definitely a band.
Firework. Jesse, you could take the lead for the first time.
All right.
Tiger Tails. One word with a Z on the end.
Firework.
It's a band. All right, last round. Here we go.
Winner takes all.
Winner takes all. And I have a tiebreaker if you need it. Fiery Frogs.
Fiery Frogs is a firework.
It is. All right, this is for all the
They got
marbles, Jesse.
cops
Send
around
in
them
overtime. All right, here we go. Jesse. Sweet Pain.
Sweet Pain. That's a firework.
It's a band. Jamie wins. Rock band or firework, a game that you invented. Jamie just beat the master. I can't believe it.
I know.
So all of those bands are like 80s obscure bands. I had to look very hard to find them. I think they each have
Well-researched.
maybe half an album out.
Yeah.
So
I love
I
it.
did not do well.
I love it.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank Amanda Cook for joining us today. Make sure to check out her latest album. It's called Survey Part 1. It's available wherever you get your music. Also, I told you last time we're looking to hire, and if you haven't hit us up and you do freelance audio editing, podcast editing, video editing, we want to hear from you. You can find out more about the position at relevantmediagroup.com and apply right there. And there's a couple of other positions that we have in the pipeline as well if you want to look into those. But looking to hire audio and video editing, work on this show, help us make this show, plus some other stuff we have in the pipeline. We'd love to hear from you. All right. Also, check out the summer issue of Relevant. It is out now. It features amazing conversations with Lauren Daigle, Arizona, Judah and Chelsea Smith, Christine Kane, Naomi Rain, on and on. There's so much in the issue. Plus some amazing think pieces about gun reform, AI, and the future of the church. You really don't want to miss it. It's available right now. You can read it for free by clicking the magazine tab at relevantmagazine.com. Also, while you're there, get the enhanced edition. It's part of Relevant Plus, which is our ad-free premium subscription where you can get everything we make ad-free and unlimited, plus the enhanced edition magazine, exclusive subscriber podcasts, and more. You can find out all the info and sign up on the Relevant Plus tab right there at the website. Hey, and while you're there, sign up for our daily newsletter. It's a great way to stay in touch with our best content. We send you our top 5 trending stories every weekday morning. It's worth signing up. You can sign up right there on the sidebar and the front page at relevantmagazine.com. Follow us on social too, but the algorithm is nuts. You could be following us, wanting to see our new posts, and you will never see our new posts. So a great way to see all of our best content is to sign up for the newsletter right there at the website. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
I'm Jamie Ivy.
We will see you on Friday. Have a great holiday and a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Awesome, man. It's the 4th of July.
Relevant Podcast Network.
What's better than ridiculously soft bedding from Sheets? Ridiculously soft bedding with ridiculously big Black Friday savings. Right now at Sheets.com, save 30 to 75% site-wide. Take 40% off our top-rated sheets and sleepwear, 50% off all pillows and the Midnight Label collection, and a huge 75% off final sale and our Arctic Air Max Diamond collection. Softer sleep, lower prices. And it all comes with free ground shipping and a 60-night risk-free guarantee. Don't sleep on these savings. Shop the Sheets Black Friday sale now at Sheets.com.